Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 160, which is called To the Land of Silence. Overall, I thought that this was a solid episode. Wasn't particularly amazing. I think there were moments in this one where it really felt like, okay, like, can we please get to the show a little bit here? I get what you're trying to do, but we're kind of wasting a little bit of the time in terms of how slowly we're going through this. I think the best parts of this episode was that Boruto was shown to be extremely capable in everything he had to do here. I did really appreciate that Mugino sort of showed doubts about, this isn't a mission for Genin, and Boruto actually proved himself here quite well. Still having a little bit of kind of recklessness to it, but he actually, accomplished it. His confidence, paid off. That I think was just let down by the fact that I think the episode very much relied on, the Land of Silence. You know the Land of Silence. You saw the Naruto Shippuden arc or read the Shikamaru novel. You know what this place is. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge reference, which was fine in terms of it fits that there's this important item, the Hashirama cell, that's being trafficked around. Powerful people have it. Powerful people want it. How do we actually go about finding it? Of course, we have to research and investigate around the lawless area that is the Land of Silence. So, the reference obviously good, but they took their time, I think, in the first, half of the episode getting to that point. Okay, we're in. We can't have the ninja headbands on, of course, as identifying marks, and they eventually get their way in. I think this is where I suppose Boruto sort of becomes the focus of the episode, for me at least, in that once the guy realizes that they're onto him, he immediately puts down the kind of metal barrier, but Boruto slides under, and it looks like he's outnumbered. He could get captured, but Taijutsu quickly defeats the two guards and holds the kind of shopkeeper hostage here until everyone else gets back in. Just really nice showcase of Boruto's skill versus just standard guards. That was quite good. Then from there, they basically found out, okay, someone with an ID came in here from the company that Victor runs, and you need to go after this to a place that is, I suppose, run by the ladies, capital T, capital L. So they head out there, and they're looking for this village hidden in the mist medical ninja, former medical ninja, Kirisaki, I believe is the name. I have it written down here. What is it again? Kirisaki is the name. Again, we just got introduced to him. We don't know the full significance of him yet, but, here he was. So we find out that, obviously, okay, he's here with the ladies who are revealed to be these 4 quadruplets. But by the end of the episode, you're sort of questioning and that, wait, are they actually guys who transform into girls, or is it the other way around? Or is there actually, 2 different sets of quadruplets? I'm not really sure. I think it was meant to be more the idea that their normal form is the guys, and that they just use the girl disguises to get information out of people. I think that's realistically what they were going for, but again, it could absolutely be reversed. I don't really know. Again, they haven't covered that exactly yet, but this created a situation where Boruto can get the information from Kirisaki. He's going to use his sexy jutsu transformation to get in there and be more attractive than these 4 quadruplets and get in close with him and get the information. And again, he did this really, really well. You'd think Boruto might kind of blow it, given the way he probably needs to act like this, but actually he impresses everyone, especially Mugino, who's that was actually really good. Konohamaru's more I can't believe he's using this jutsu and it's working, but Mugino's he's good, because Boruto does get the guy to come with him. And obviously, just before the information is about to be sort of given, the kid comes in, steals his briefcase, bit of an incident happens, but anyway, they end up, capturing him. Boruto uses Gale Palm and takes him out quite quickly. Again, another example of Boruto being quite skilled in this episode. And this leads into the idea of like, okay, this guy is here. He's here because he's sort of familiar with the Hashirama cell. As a medical ninja, he can be important in doing something with it. And he has to meet someone on a bridge coming up soon. So that's where they make up the plan. Konohamaru is going to transform into Kirisaki. Boruto's going to come with him, with the Sarada and Mugino acting as backup, and that leads directly into the end scene of the episode. The meeting at the bridge, the butler guy who he reveals he's the butler for the guy who has the Hashirama cell. I guess he talks about like the person he works for as being like kind of beautiful and magnificent and so on. Not really sure exactly what they're going for there just yet, but either way, they get across this idea that, okay, the butler has the Hashirama cell sort of implanted in him, like we've sort of seen before. Obviously, it's a tricky one in that, like, okay, the Hashirama cell has been like used on him, but the actual, I suppose, original cell that is causing this to happen in the first place, they're still looking for it. So this is the test. Prove that you are the real Kirisaki. He will be able to heal this. Can you heal it? But obviously it's not the real Kirisaki, but they do have him, so they might be able to, get out of this. We'll see exactly what way that goes. And that's the setup for the end of the episode. Like, I appreciate what they were trying to do. I think it just took a little bit of a while to get there. And then the preview for next episode, okay, it looks like, okay, Victor's kind of come back into it. Deepa, who was here right at the start of this arc, is going to come back into it. But it looks like it's going to be like the butler brings them to this castle and something happens. We're also going to cut back in the next episode to Yubina and Mitsuki, and to find out what's going on. Can they use Mitsuki's body and the antibodies that it has to heal other people from the Hashirama cell? And we'll see overall, I suppose, how they bring all this to a conclusion. How many or more episodes of this arc do we have before we get into sort of the manga section of like this arc? But like I said, it was solid. I appreciated Boruto not being shown to be like over the top in terms of what he was doing, but like, no, it makes sense in these situations. He should be able to be very skillful and defeat random guards, hold a guy hostage until his allies can come in. Using the sexy jutsu in a more kind of tactical way it was actually quite good. Typically it's used for comedy for the most part, and then of course Naruto's use of it against Kaguya, of course, was actually a very clever use of it. But here is, I suppose, as a ninja, the more like common use for something like this, of like, yeah, that's perfect for this jutsu, and we finally got to see it used that way, and Boruto could actually make it work. Beyond that, like, I don't have a lot to say really about like where I think they're going with the butler or anything like that. I'm just gonna wait to see how the plot kind of like pans out, because obviously this isn't the most important plot right now, because we're still waiting ultimately to get into the manga arc. This is more of a setup arc for that, but it's still interesting. Like that's the thing here. Like, having a reference coming back to a place like the Land of Silence does actually work. It creates a little bit of a different dynamic. I like that we have like Mugino feels a little bit different as a character. Konohamaru is getting to be the leader of the team. It's fun. This just wasn't the most amazing episode of Boruto. That's the main thing to say. Hopefully next week's a little bit more exciting, but we'll get into that one next time. So yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on this episode. But that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.